Hello guys, and welcome to Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars, the director's cut. Right, I can breathe again. So this is a very well-known adventure game. It's basically one of the adventure games, as far as I can tell. I've not played any of the Broken Sword games, so this is going to be entirely new, so... I believe this is actually the first of the Broken Sword series, but, you know, I'm entirely new to them, so... This was a re-release with some extra content, I believe. Basically going in is absolutely blind. Also, I believe this is actually the first time that I'm going to be recording in a window, and it's already just weird. It is weird to actually see my audio recording in the background, and it's just throwing me off already, but it's the best way to actually record the game, because I struggled with that a bit. It basically, in the options, you can set a screen resolution. Basically, there's the full screen, which actually works really well. If I wasn't recording, I would play on full screen. That would be fine. You can play in the original graphics, which, why would you? Or you can play in augmented, which is just enhanced a little bit. But basically, if I go to full screen. If you watch on anything other than 1080p, you wouldn't be able to read anything. So that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Hell, let's just go for a new game. I saw the intro and that looked very interesting. So, yeah, let's do it.
Paris, city of love, romance, and dreams. So they say. I used to say it too, but ever since that day, the day of the murder, I've always associated my beloved Paris with death. I was at home having a bath when my editor called.
Collard, get your ass over to the Palais Royal now. You got an interview. With Pierre Carchon. Yes, the Pierre Carchon. No photos, so leave your gear at home. He asked for you personally. Don't ask me why. Anyhow, this could be big, so if he makes a pass, don't forget. Just smile, say yes, and keep taking notes.
So charming and so very apt. Pierre Carchon was a media king, a national hero, and one of the most infamous adulterers in Europe. He and his wife Imelda were just one step down from royalty. Whoa, I hate mimes, but unless you humor them, they don't go away. Here I was, the palace of the Media King and the Ice Queen. I pressed the doorbell and set in motion a chain of events which would change my life forever.
Yes? What is it?
Madame, my name is Nico Collard. I'm here to see Monsieur Carchon.
Come up, we're on the first floor.
Madame Carchon, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm sure.
The Ice Queen was certainly living up to her reputation. Will you be staying for the interview?
Mademoiselle, I know little of my husband's business affairs, and I care even less. I certainly have no intention of watching him pore over yet another pretty little journalist.
Pretty? You're too kind, madame.
The talented and very beautiful Mademoiselle Collard. Such a pleasure to meet you at last.
Monsieur Carchon, I am honored.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Call me Pierre, please. But I do not flatter you idly. I was a friend of your father. He was a great man.
My father, he never mentioned.
He and I were very close. And then his death. So tragic. I must... Imelda, your damned cat's in my study again. Another Ming vase, I suppose. Excuse me for one moment, my dear girl.
You journalists are getting younger each year.
Perhaps it's the rest of the world getting older, madame. That was no cat.
God, what? Monsieur Carchon!
He's dead. I must call the police. You'd better stay here.
There was a man. It was the mime. Do you think he...
Well, I believe we can rule out suicide, don't you?
No wonder they called her the Ice Queen. She would have been top of my list of suspects if I hadn't seen the attacker myself. And if I hadn't come across a couple of murders just like this already. One of the most important men in Europe murdered. And here was I, Nico Coulard, alone at the scene of the crime. Should I wait for the cops? Or start my own investigation? It was a no-brainer.
Right. So, start your own investigation then. Alright, move the mouse pointer around the screen to discover areas of interest, which will be indicated by an animating blue circle. Okay. When the pointer passes over an object with which you can interact, it will change to an animating icon reflecting the available action. Press the left mouse button to perform that action. Click on the briefcase? No, it's not. Well, it's some sort of bag. I'm sure there's a more precise name for it, but oh hell, it just says it right there. Jesus Christ, guy. Here I'm just, you know, sitting like, well, I'm sure there's a better name for that, but no, it's just a friggin' briefcase. If only I'd read the first word. Oh well. Briefcase icon to open your inventory and display the objects that you are carrying. Much as you'd expect. A diary to access the diary. Presumably, maybe she writes down everything a person says. Which makes me just think already of, you know, you have to, like the Phoenix Wright games, you know. Someone saying A, but someone else, or you have some sort of evidence that contradicts that, or... God, I hope it doesn't get into that. The question mark to get puzzle hints and interface help. The spanner icon to save and restore a game. And adjust settings. Alright. Lower section of the screen. Yep. That's the blue circle. So... I mean, normally you wouldn't touch a body, right? You wouldn't? Ew. Yeah, you just wouldn't do that, but I'm gonna assume that we will want to. Well, I don't know. Has the Ice Queen already called... You shouldn't touch anything in... I don't know. Should I just leave it for the cops? Which will basically, you know... let them handle it or something. Nah, the game wouldn't work like that. Let's just first not touch the body, because that just seems like a weird thing to do. Perfect circle.
A small round piece of glass had been cut out of the pane. This was a professional job.
Well, not many people can, you know, cut or, well, even draw. Never mind cut. a perfect circle. So, you know, there's only a couple of people that can do that, so it should be easy to trace them down.
I didn't want to cut myself and leave blood on the glass. Call me old-fashioned, but I like to keep my DNA to myself.
Oh, do you?
The killer must have used a ladder to reach the window. He was long gone. Guess he folded that ladder up, popped it in his pocket and took it with him.
Right. Statue.
A bust of Pierre Cauchon, humble servant of La France.
So what's that guy actually famous for then? That much I didn't get.
The bookcase was filled with obscure first editions.
Alright.
Pierre Cauchon again. His eyes seemed to follow me around the room.
No, they seem to be kind of staring up at the, well, himself, really. So we can't... Is there a show all interactable items? No, there isn't. Well, let's look at the body. Really? Yeah, I clicked already, so...
Mimes and guns don't usually go together, but I had an idea that this was no ordinary mime. I'd come across this murderer before, and written about him. The costume killer, at least that's what I'd called him.
So why don't you, you know, share more info with yourself so the player would know? Wait.
It was one of my hair clips. My favorite, in fact. It must have fallen when I was knocked down.
Well, we've already messed with, you know, evidence now, so...
I closed his eyes. It was the least I could do for the poor fellow.
Well, great.
I opened his eyes. Best to leave the crime scene as I found it.
Yeah, you've already not done that, so might as well stick with it now.
I closed his eyes. It was the least I could do for the poor fellow.
Right, and that coat just seems entirely suspicious, so...
Some people hate searching corpses for clues. Me, I'm okay with it. Reminds me of an old boyfriend.
Okay, well, thanks for that information.
In his pocket, I found a ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. Taking the ticket meant I tampered with the evidence. There was no going back now.
No, there isn't.
Cauchon had been shot.
Well, can't you, you know, grab the coat and put it back over? No? Okay, well, I guess I'll push the back button. Oh, she does! Oh, very good. Very nice. Well, let's go tell the Ice Queen that we stole some stuff already, and we're now off, I guess. No, I bet we have to wait for the police to show up.
The police could turn up at any minute. Somewhere there were clues to the murder, and I needed to find them.
Somewhere. Well, yes. Great. I guess we gotta talk to her, right? I mean, she seems suspicious as hell. No matter how much you dislike someone just... Especially her husband getting shot, you know, in the next room and not caring? That seems like a far-fetched thing. Oh, can pick that up. It's a paint.
It was a tube of acrylic paint. French ultramarine.
Alright, let's...
Just the color I was after for my bathroom.
I'm sorry, I have to go. Someone is...
Young lady, what are you doing? Oh, this paint. It's my favorite color.
For God's sake, keep the damn stuff.
Oh, now she's gonna cry. No! Okay, well, fine.
Imelda had talent, but I certainly wasn't going to tell her that.
Why not? Be friendly. Let's look at the stuff on the table then. There seems to be another...
I reckoned that cloth might just turn out to be useful.
Sure, take it. Adventure games. Seriously. What's up with that, though?
Even my fingernail wouldn't fit into such a small hole.
Maybe the hairpin? To use an inventory item on a background object. It's not really a background object, but okay. Click on that item and hold the mouse button. While continuing to hold the mouse button, drag the item over to a hotspot and release